Hey there, it's Beth. Last time I mentioned how I had to learn to love myself and I had to do some kind of intense practice with it. So if you're in one of the similar dark places that I know very well, to think about just starting to love yourself might feel just completely out of reach. So where do you start? Here's where you start. Self-compassion. Self-compassion is like the Swiss Army knife of life skills. It's so useful in so many different ways. And the wonderful researcher Kirsten Neff wrote extensively on the topic of self-compassion and all the good things that it brings into our lives. And she made it easy for us to remember that there are 3 components to self-compassion. First, you got to notice that you're hurting. And in life, if we're going through a rough patch or feel like we're in a desert of existential angst, sometimes you don't even notice how bad you're feeling. So to just have the intention to stop and say, wow, this doesn't feel good. This is really hard. That creates an opening. For step 2, which is to notice that you're in really good company. That this pain that you're feeling is just part of the human experience. Jack Kornfield, this wonderful meditation teacher, talks about when you buy the ticket for the ride of life, it says, admit 1, unbearable beauty and an ocean of tears. Now, if that doesn't hit you in the heart, this life stuff has both the highs and the lows. If you get stuck in the lows, the mind makes you think that that's all that there is. But you know deeply that there's more. This is only part of the human experience. It's a part of the human experience that connects us all, because we all start out stumbling when we start to walk, and we fall down and we cry. It's just part of it. But with this tool of self-compassion that we're working on, you can pick yourself back up and move forward again more easily, more grace, more ease. 3 is kindness. Now, if self-love felt a little bit out of reach, kindness might feel out of reach too. So here's how we do. You imagine a pet. I think it's the easiest. A sweet, innocent pet that you love very much. Also a dear friend, or a dear family member, someone you love deeply. It could even be an author, someone who opens your heart with their words. And imagine that they're experiencing whatever deep grief or anguish or pain that you're experiencing. And then you notice, wow, if that one that you love is feeling that grief, there's a natural outpouring of the heart to want to help, to say, what can I do? How can I help? What do you need? And the heart begins to soften. And from there, you can begin to turn that kindness back to the self and say, wow, I'm hurting. What do I need? What can I do for myself? It's not my fault. It's part of being human. I notice that I'm hurting, and what arises naturally is this kindness. And the magic is the more you can practice this, the more you become a safe person for yourself. And those judgmental thoughts, that inner critic, just the intensity, their power just goes right down. So I can't wait to hear how this works for you. Remember the 3 steps. Notice that you're hurting. Notice you're in good company. It's part of being human. And 3, offering kindness to yourself, just the same way you'd offer it to a loved one that's hurting. Okay, can't wait to hear how this works for you. Talk to you soon.